Right, back with another XXL enemy SoB Brimstone Deathmatch. Who we've got up now. Last outing in this sort of a round robin tournament for these two contenders. First one, creature from outer space, the Ancient One. Not doing so well. Currently lingering in last place with only one victory, so hoping to pick up a victory to maybe not be last place. So I'll put that fella down on that side, charging forward with his sword. This is the big club wielder, the Oni Warlord, who's doing pretty well. If Oni Warlord wins this one, he is going to be an unqualified second. So let's see how they go up against each other like that. There we go. There is the Ancient One's brutal sheet, and there is the Oni Warlord's brutal sheet. So looking at the comparisons, both got defensive 3, both actually do enough damage to get through that. Peril dice damage from the Ancient One on its 5 attacks, 8 damage on the Oni Warlord's 5 attacks. So they can actually hurt each other, which is always a good start. They both then have initiative of 4, so they're not going to. So it's just be sort of roll off each time for that. Oni Warlord doesn't summon any friends. He is just a straight up hitter. His big club clears out any enemies in front of him as well, so he can handle someone's. And if it's down to just one model to start with like this, there is an opportunity you can shove them in the cage, which is a risk for the Ancient One. The Ancient One is a summoner, but it's probably the least reliable summoner. You need to get, I think it's a 10 or 11 on its Master of Reality ability. It also does like an arc with its sword, but it's not going to be relevant because the Oni Warlord is on its own. So I think most of this is just going to be a straight up thump fest between the two of them, with maybe the Ancient One summoning some friends. In which case we look at that. We've still got a defensive 3. The Ancient One has 85 hits. The Oni Warlord only has 60, so that's a slight advantage to the Ancient One. They both are endurance 4, and and basically that's pretty much it. So there's no real speciality in some damage. So it's basically on a pure thump for thump basis. You think the Ancient One's going to win because not only does it has more hits, it might be doing less damage, but it hits on a 3 or more, whereas the Oni Warlord only hits on a 4 or more. So I would say, if you were just looking into that consideration, it's probably going to be the Ancient One. But the Oni Warlord, if there's only the Ancient One, could shove it in a cage. So I don't know on this one. I think this is very, very, very swingy on the random luck factor that could end up with a caging is the way out. Well, let's go and say the Oni Warlord is going to continue its win. It's going to go and unqualified second, and the Ancient One's going to end up the loser of all this. So yes, before we start the game, start the fight. Sorry, the Ancient One gets a Ancient Doom. Today's Ancient Doom is return what you have stolen. Angered by your trespass throughout time and space, the Ancient One has gone to reclaim what you've stolen from its rightful history. Treasures beyond time. During this fight, all heroes take an extra +1 damage from the Ancient One's combat hits for each artifact from anywhere they're currently carrying. None. I think in the past we have got rid of whiffs, so let's go with another one that's not a whiff. Okay, dreaded return. There is a reason all living things fear the darkness beyond time and space. The darkness is older than time, the void that all things emerge from, and to which all things must return. As old as time itself, the Ancient One has +3 health for each growing dread card on the stack or discard. I believe it's not a whiff necessarily. Yeah, it's not technically a whiff necessarily, so it may get that triggered later on, so we'll keep that. Right. Righty ho. Who goes first? Odds are the Ancient One evens the Oni. Odds the Ancient One moves 5. Yes, it can get to within melee range. There we go. So it's going to sword slightly in the way. There we go. So they're going to swing a sword at the Oni Warlord. So 5 dice, hitting on 3 or more. So that's 2. We'll do a peril dice each. That one whiffs because it's 3, that one's 5, so it does 2 damage. So 2 damage to the Oni Warlord. Okay, then the Oni Warlord fights back with a 5 or more, so 5 dice to get 4 or more. It does, gets 2, so that's 2 that do 8 damage, so that's 2 sets of 5 that get reduced to 4 each, so that's 2, 4, so that's 8 damage done to the Ancient One. 1, 2, 3. It's now the end of the Oni's move. Can the Ancient One get out of being stuffed in a cage? It does, it rolls a 5, which is good enough. And then the Ancient One has its Master of Reality ability. 10. Summon some friends. Draw a low threat for this, which is going to be from Forbidden Fortress, because that's where we're fighting at the moment. Okay, here's your low threat deck from Forbidden Fortress. Just a quick shuffle. Take one is going to be Tengu Blind Master. There you go. Special note: hit and run. When the Tengu Master is reduced to half health or less, he retreats. Sky removed from the fight. So a Tengu Blind Master. Okay, where is my Tengu Blind Master? We shall see. There you go. There is the Tengu Blind Master model. So, there's an ambush attack. Plop. There goes the Tengu Blind Master. Let's get his stat block out. Tengu Blind Master. He is apparently legendary. Legendary. So initiative 10. Wow, he's definitely going first then. Fly, moves from Blind Master. When rolling to hit, this enemy rolls its dice in secret under a cover in a book, and the target hero chooses a number from 1 and 6, and all the hit dice that match that number are removed. If at least one die was removed, the hero may choose another number to remove. Continue until the number is picked that does not match any of the to hit dice, then all remaining dice are counted as hits on the target. Any of those remaining dice that are doubles do double damage each. And the triples do triple damage each. Eesh. Okay. Right then. For each to hit roll of 1 or 2 that an adjacent hero makes, cancel their highest roll successful hit. If there are no successful hits left to cancel, instead this enemy does 1 free combat hit to that hero outside of normal sequence. Right. Combat 7, damage 2. So if you only get 1 hit, it's not going to do anything, but that whole sort of doubling and tripling, etc., etc., that's where it's going to be able to do damage. 23 hits, defense 3. Blimey. Start of turn. So Tengu goes first. Now what we're going to do for that, because obviously there's only me here, we can't do that sort of secret stuff. What I'm going to do is we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up in that order, regardless of what these dice roll. So we roll 7 dice to attack the Oni. So any but number 1 are removed. There are no number 1s. Okay, so get rid of all that. And then any of those remaining dice that are doubles do double damage each. So the 2s do double damage and the 4s do double damage. But that's it. So they do 4 damage each, which is reduced by a defense of 3. So they do 1 damage each. So that's 2 damage to the Warlord from the Tengu Blind Master. Okay. Odds the Ancient One evens the odds the Ancient One goes again. So the Ancient One himself goes. So 5 dice hitting on on 3 or more. 2 peril dice, so that's 2 again, which is 1, and 3 is 4 to the Oni. Okay, the Onis go. So the Oni swings its club from 2 models it can target, which is both of those, so it's going to hit them both. Full combat against each one, and he gets d6 wounds back if he kills one. So let's go against the Tengu first. So he rolls 5 dice, and we're going to look out for 1s and 2s. Okay, so that 2 cancels out that 6. So that 6 then hits the Tengu for 8 damage. Well, that's the 3, so that's 5 damage to a Tengu Blind Master. And then we have 5 hits against the Ancient one. Okay, so that 2 takes away the 4, and then those 2 do the point of, what is it? 1 free combat hits to that hero outside of normal sequence. Ping, ping, they'll just ping off the armour. It's basically shielding the Ancient one quite successfully. But 1 random hero adjacent might get shoved in a cage. So odds it's the Ancient one, evens it's the Tengu. It's the Tengu. Can the Tengu successfully avoid getting shoved in a cage? 5, yes it does. Next turn, Tengu Blind Master. Same as before, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Up. There are no 1s again. Oof, there was a 3-3 and a 5-5. So the 3-3 does 6, which is 3 damage. And then the 2 5s do 1 damage. Okay. And then odds will go with the Ancient one, evens the Oni. Ancient one, 5 dice attack. Oh, we didn't do the Ancient one's ability end of last turn. End of last turn, the Ancient one, Void Form, becomes +1 initiative, so it was going first anyway, permanently now. Okay. So yeah, 5 dice against the Oni Warlord. Hits on 3s, so that's 4 that hit for 4 peril dice. 1, 2, oh, I've only got 3 out, that'll do. So 1, 2, 5, 6 damage. Oops, to the right one. 6 damage to the Oni Warlord. So then the Oni Warlord, who will again target the Tengu and the Ancient one, does the Tengu. 5 dice to hit. No 1s and 2s, so the 2 4s and 5s, which do in fact hit. 2 sets of 8, 2 sets of 5, it's 15. So it's 10 to put it on 15, which is more than half its hit points. Yeah, so he retreats skywards after getting battered, which isn't, I mean, I'm not going to count that as a kill, so we don't get the d6 wounds back. You do get 5 dice against the Ancient one unhindered. 3 hits, 3 sets of 8, sets reduced to 3 sets of 5, which is further reduced to 3 sets of 4 due to endurance, so 12. To 20. And then, does the Ancient one get shoved in a cage? No, that's 3 sets of 5, so it does not get shoved in a cage. Ancient one's Master of Reality is a 6. Horrific roar, each hero loses a grip. Oh well. Ancient one goes first. Have a new turn. 5 dice. 2 hits. 2 peril dice. That's a whip, that's a 1. And then 5 dice back from the Oni Warlord. 2 hits. So 2 sets of 8 is 10, or would be, but it gets reduced to 8 due to endurance. 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay, does the Ancient one get shoved in a cage? Nope, there's a 5 there. Okay, end of turn, Ancient one's ability. 10. Summon minions. Next set of minions are... Oh, there we go. 1 Oni, and D3+1 acidic tentacles. So it is 2 tentacles. 1 Oni, 2 tentacles, 1 Oni. So there is your Oni. Fighting, yes, the Oni Warlord. Clearly the rebellion in the ranks. And there is your acidic tentacle, which there are 2. Put 1 on either side. Have an Oni at the front. Coming in. Right, let's have a look at their stat blocks. So there is the Oni. And there's the acidic tentacles. So let's start with the acidic tentacles. Acidic tentacles, you come in an ambush, so they're going to be next to it, so their spitting acid isn't going to happen. They're 6 would ignore defense, except for the fact that the Warlord is immune to critical hits due to having some tiger pants. They only do full damage, so they're basically just going to be ablative chaff. They are there to distract the Oni. They can't hurt him. The Oni Warlord. The Oni itself basically can hit it. It's got damage of free combat, damage of 5, so it can get through. And if you take 1 or more wounds from it, they're knocked back, which is amusing, given of course it's an Oni knocking back a Warlord who's like 2 times its size. But hey ho. So that knockback, it can knock it back into the wall and do damage. It may do something. Right, 20 hits on the Oni, 7 on the Warlord, also on the tentacles, 3 on defense for each of them. Right, so that was Ancient One summoning its friends again. Nope, I've knocked the Oni Warlord's hit, so on to the Ancient One. Start of the next turn. First initiative, it's going to be the acidic tentacles. I don't think there's any point, but we'll roll the 6 dice for their attack. They hit on 4, so that is 5 hits. Just make sure, so 5 hits, they do 3 damage each. There's no special abilities. Nope. No. But anyways, they do nothing. So then the Oni, because it's an ambush this turn, 3 dice. 2 hits. They do 5 damage each, so that's 2, so that's 4. So the Oni does 4 damage to the Oni Warlord and pushes it back into the wall, at which point it takes d6 wounds, ignoring defense. 6. Oof, didn't like that wall. Okay, that's the Oni Warlord. Then the Ancient One with its 5 attacks. Hits with 4 of them, so that's 4 peril dice damage. Whiff. And the last one is 3. Okay. It's then the Oni Warlord. Who's it go for? Right, so let's get the D8 out and go 1, 2 this acidic tentacle, 3, 4 the Oni, 5, 6 the Ancient One, 7, 8 the tentacle round the back. 8 tentacle round the back is who it's targeting. Who is the next one it's targeting? The Oni. So it's going to hit that one, and the Ancient One is also in that line. Right, draw a straight line. Yep. Every mod in the space crossed by the line. Yep. Full attack against each of them. Right. Let's start with the acidic tentacle. 5 dice. Hits on 4 or more. So that's 2 hits. Does 8 per, so that's 5 after defense. That is enough to explode the acidic tentacle, which will allow the Oni Warlord to heal d6 wound. 2 wounds. Okay. And the Ancient One gets clobbered with the club. 3 hits, 3 sets of 8, which is going to be 3 sets of 5, which is going to be 3 sets of 4, so that's 12. So the Ancient One's on to, what's that, 10, 20, 30, 40, almost half hits. And then the Oni. 3 hits. So that's 3 sets of 8. It's got a defence of 3. So that's 3 sets of 5. So it takes 15 of its 20 hits. Not dead yet. Then it shoves someone in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goes for the ancient one. Okay. If there are only 1 or 2 heroes in the fight, then there's 3 now. So it's 5 or more on this dice. No. That's a 4. Well, that's it then. Yep. Oh no, because it's not the only model, is it? Right, no, correct. If failed, the hero is grabbed and stuffed in the slave cage. Remove the hero from the board. Gets removed from the board. At the start of its subsequent activations, they may make a strength 6 or more testing break free. Blah blah blah. If all heroes are in the slave cage or KO'd at the end of this mission, right? So the ancient one needs to get out before those 2 die. Basically, we're now at the end of the turn though, so the ancient one rolls for its ability. Rolls 5, consume. Get rid of the side-back token, which isn't there. Okay. Start of the next turn. The Centicles does nothing, just whiffles away. The Oni Warlord. The Oni and the Oni Warlord go on the same initiative, so evens it's the Oni, odds it's the Oni Warlord. It's the Oni. So the Oni swings first for 3 dice attack. Misses every single one. Now it's the Oni Warlord, it'll attack both of them. I think this is going to be curtains, so go for the Oni. That is 5 hits. That is 25 damage to the Oni. The Oni will explode under the club. D6 healing for the Oni Warlord. Gets rid of 3. And then the acidic tentacle. Unless the ancient one is really lucky and the Oni's going to miss all its. I think this is it. And that is 1, 2, 3 hits. 3 sets of 8. Each of those reduced to 3 sets of 5 is 15. Is more than enough to splatter that acidic tentacle. Heal the d6 damage. 6. Not that it particularly matters, because now there are no longer any models on there, and the ancient one, master of time and space, is trapped in a very small box. Infinite cosmic power, very small living space. There we go, a win for the Oni Warlord, which is going to put the Oni Warlord as our second place out of all of the fights. And poor old ancient one has only racked up 1 victory, which means I don't think it matters what happens in the last round. The ancient one is going to be a loser. I'd say go home, but I'm not entirely sure where your home is. There we go.